happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital, while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers, our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward to greater achievements, we are rebranding to reflect who we are today and the future that we inspire. Our new logo has been designed to visually demonstrate our Gambian heritage and the sophisticated nature of the bank. We are moving away from the navy and gold-colored parallelogram-shaped logo to our baobab tree with a rising sun in the background. The striking outline of a baobab tree at sunrise is a familiar sight to anyone who has spent time in the Gambia. Our new logo and visual identity are inspired by our core values and spirit of being a pioneer in providing a unique banking experience. It is a completely new look that better matches the transformation we have made as a company. But we remain your Trust Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to present to you our new logo and corporate identity.
Residency Estate is a gated community located in Old Yundum, proudly developed by Swami India, perfect for all looking for a quiet life with luxury amenities within an enclosed setting. When talking about the benefits of living in a gated community, Safety and security is top on the list. They allow extra privacy, take away the hustle of unwelcome solicitors, and create a safe haven for children to play in a trusted environment without traffic or speedy vehicles. A great sense of community develops through the meeting at a controlled communal leisure facilities, offering an integrated lifestyle. A green environment and well-managed communal areas are keys to higher home standards, elevated quality of life, and better property value should you consider home reinvestment in the future. Added to all is the location, just next to the airport and reconstructed main road, yet tucked in the tranquility of nature. Our purpose is one, your satisfaction. Contact us. Let us help you build your dream home in the Gambia.
This season on Kerr Fatou.
The reason I have always called for a national dialogue is because a government must be responsive to the needs of its people.
Fatou.
Tell you one thing, if me as an individual, if I know that there is somebody that I definitely wrong, I will be bold enough. I will go to the person. I will appeal to him and apologize him.
I have to make decision today because I don't make decisions lightly. I investigate. I do my research. I get the facts. I call the experts. I summon meetings. I get the technician. Then I reflect and I make a decision.
Why did you lose the election?
Well, we lost the election because of cheating and registration. We had evidence of people being registered before the opening of the registration.
Hello and welcome to another edition of our show. It's another Thursday and we are back here in the studio in our office in Tranquil, and of course with me today I have Lare Ceesay, former Secretary General and also former UNDP staff, but somebody also who is also part of the United Democratic Party executive. We are not going to be speaking on political lines today. Well, I might just bring some politics though, because we cannot have him without not talking about politics. But Uncle Lare, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm not in the executive.
Oh, you're not in the executive. Okay.
I'm just an ordinary
just
member.
ordinary member. Okay, great. But today's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. And good evening to your listeners and viewers.
Thank you very much. And before we start the show, I want to first say, I want to start with something that has been trending on social media. That is the issue of some trafficking that is happening, that people are allegedly talking about, involving Gambia GAP leader, Honorable Musa Yali Bachili. And you know, when we heard about this story, we reached out to Musa Yali Bachili and his team, and they definitely want to react to this story. So we will have them on the show, on the phone, because they are not in the country, but we will talk to Basamba Drame, and he will talk to us about what is happening. So if you're just joining us, thank you for joining us. And today we want to thank you all. If you're just joining us, you know, somebody was asking, how can I send star? How you can send star is by going to the left side of your the screen. There's a star button there. You can choose what number of stars you want to send us. By sending us stars, you are directly supporting the network, and we appreciate you all for following, sharing, and sending us stars. That way you're also empowering the network. So we want to thank you very much for following us. At this point, let me see whether I have Bachili or Basamba on the line. Hello, Basamba.
Yes.
Hi, Basamba. How are you? Welcome to Kerr Fatou.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me know if you are hearing Basamba. First, Basamba, I want you to let me know, because I want to make the clarification first. is this the same Basamba Drame who does the Basamba talk show or it is a different Basamba?
Yeah, Basamba Steak is my nephew. Basamba that does the Basamba Steak is my nephew. I'm Basamba Muhammad Drame, I'm his uncle. So this is Basamba of Red Carpet Solutions.
Basamba of what solutions?
Red Carpet Solutions.
Red Carpet Solution. If you can speak a little louder. Okay. Basamba, so I know I reached out to Honorable Musayali Bachi earlier on, and also I spoke to you earlier on about this allegation going around about what is the name of the country again? I don't know. It's difficult to pronounce. I always find it difficult to... Nicaragua. Yes. Tell us, what is the situation? What happened? How you guys have been taking people to this place for vacation, and what happened at this point? What is this problem?
What happened, to make the long story short, we've been producing visas for people to travel to Nicaragua. And the route was via Istanbul from Banjul to Panama or to Sao Paulo, then to Nicaragua. And then, they will, from there, they'll find their way out, on themselves, their own.
Yeah.
So, and we realized that, why not we charter a whole flight that will take about 100 or 200 or 300 people, who will just, venture into the journey to go to Nicaragua for tourism.
Okay.
Yes.
So at this point, we are told you guys have up to 250 passengers. Is this true, that you are supposed to take in this particular trip? What happened to those passengers? Why haven't they been able to travel?
Well, there were so many hiccups, and actually the passengers we have in is 235. These are the number of passengers we have on our manifest. And because it's a chartered flight, so we were required to make a manifest with the name, the passport numbers, and all the details of the people, the passengers traveling. So we have about 235, and these people, not all of them, paid, so, and the hiccups we are having is that, we hired a big plane, an Airbus, that is an Airbus 747 that takes about 560 people. And the plan was to have two trips, a 250 flight to go first, and then another 250 flight to go second. That makes it 500. And now for this Boeing, we could not fill it up to 560. And so that was one of the delay. So the first delay was our first agent, whom we hired from Eagle Air Services, and we came together to Nigeria here, and he was beating about the bush, dilly-dallying with our affairs, and so we realized that his case was a bit dubious, and so we ended the relation with him. It's a long story what happened, as I explained it to you earlier on before the show.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we now are having the project in our own hands, and we ourselves are hiring the flight, and we've reached out to some options that we are exploring, and we understand that this is going to happen, and we've talked with we are good to go, and a date is even being slated, that is on the 30th of this month. The flight will be coming, that will be taking the people to Nicaragua.
Now, do you have visas for all of these passengers you have been able to acquire airplane for? Do you have a visa for all of them? All of the passengers?
Yes, they all have visas. All the 235, we make their visas. The moment you intend. At first, what we used to do, that's 3-4 months ago, is that we only make the visa for you, and then, you go to the airline agencies like Air Turkey, Turkish Airlines, or you go to Sadhguru or any other airlines that sell ticket. You can go to them and they will get your ticket. But for us, you only pay the visa fees. But this time is that, whenever someone comes and you intend to travel, like, we make the visa for you. It's not visa free, but the visa is part of the package that we charge. And so you'll have your visa and your vaccination certificate, and you'll have your yellow fever medical certificate, and all the documents, that are necessary for you to travel with. So we fixed that one for you. And so we put your name in the manifest, and you will then pay. Some people will pay, and then, we'll get their visas to them to confirm to them that, they are part of the trip.
So, but Mr. Basamba, you guys don't operate as an air travel agency in the Gambia. Now, how are you able to get a landing for an aircraft in the Gambia, or even in the country that you're taking these passengers to? Because you don't operate as an air.
That was also, one of the hiccups we had during the acquisition of landing permit in the Gambia, after we requested from the GCAA, Gambia Aviation Authority. Mm-hmm. So what happened? Red Carpet Solution is a company registered, and is legal to operate as a facilities management company and a consultancy services company. Mm-hmm. And to us, as far as we are consultancy services, and we are licensed to operate as one. So for visa consultation, for other consultation services, we can practice as one. But what we didn't realize was, for you to acquire a landing permit, you have to go further than that. You need to register with the Gambian Aviation Authority and the GIA. So we didn't know about that. So until the last minute, when we were denied the permit of Gambia, the landing permit of the Gambia. So that's the time we realized, and so we revised the whole thing. The whole thing is revised now, and we now partnered with a licensed company, a company who is authorized to go on to work as a tour guide company and also to sell tickets. So this company is working with us now as a new partner, and we are working on to getting a landing permit in the Gambia, which is confirmed. We promised, there's already promise been made that we'll have our landing permit.
But Basamba, your office have before taken people to this Nicaragua, right? Before this particular incident happening, right? You have done that before, right? And they had no hitches.
And they have? Sorry?
There were no hitches as to taking them and bringing them.
Yeah, there were no hitches, actually. So the thing is, the office was operating as the visa consultancy, giving them license, and even individuals were doing that. You produce the visa. It's an online visa that you do. So it's like you will fill a form online, and it's a very complicated form that you will fill, and it to do one visa, it can take you for 2 hours fixing it. So it requires a lot of time, especially when you are new to it, and the more if you have experience, you can do it in maybe 1 hour for one visa. So this is the patient that you will need to do a visa. So we were doing it, and some other people were also producing visas. But what happened, the office was not selling tickets. It was not acting as an agent, of selling ticket. What used to happen was, after acquiring a visa for you, you are on your own. So you will go to airline agency. Any airline agents that will sell ticket to you will only give you an advice of, will consult you based on the route you are to take. You'll take the route of Istanbul to Sao Paulo to Panama, and then to Nicaragua. So we'll give you that route, and people were paying airlines to issue tickets for them. So this was ongoing.
So now at this point, over almost 235 passengers have been supposed to be involved in this particular trip. At this point, you don't have the landing license for Gambia. If at all you're not able to take these people to their destination? What happens? Are you able to refund their monies to them? Because this is a lot of money. I'm being told this is I spoke to one of the complainants who told me they have paid almost, some have paid almost $4,500, others have paid $6,000. Now, are you able to pay these people their monies in full, $6,000 or $4,000, based on what they have paid to you guys?
Yeah, the thing is, is a promise to deliver, contract, even if at all there is no contract, written contract. But, when somebody gives you your money to do something, you have to provide the service. And if you don't provide the service, you do a refund. So we have refund policies, that are there. But some of the customers, they're not just patient because of the time, we've given them. Like, first time has failed, and the second one also, just because of the last hiccup, not having the landing permit. And now we're trying, for another, landing permit, because all requirements are now been fulfilled. And if we fulfill those requirements, we are guaranteed to have the permit, and, it's guaranteed for the flight to go. So it's just the non-patient ones amongst them that are making noise and asking for refund. As we even speak now, some are even calling, and still asking for refund. But some just want to know, to confirm with us whether the flight is going or not. And when we affirm to them that the flight is coming and the flight will surely go, and that, acquiring the permits of Gambia and Nicaragua is a certainty. So, they find to do it. They find to wait until, the date that is slated, that is the 30th of this month now.
So you are saying the new date is the 30th of this month, October. So if that fails, that is the time you will think about refunding these people.
Yeah, exactly. That's the time, that's the time that the company will now, sit and refund. It's not like, everyone will come at once and will be like, okay, well, we refunded this. So there must be some set rules and dates and time, that they will come to the office, either in groups or by pairs or by one, and then we give them their money.
But for those people who say your company is involved in trafficking, because a lot of us know that when people go to Nicaragua, they are looking for the back way to go to the United States. And that indirectly is trafficking, because, these people don't have that kind of money to go on vacation to that place. They cannot spend 90 days. They cannot afford that kind of payment in that destination that you're taking them. A lot of people that you have taken, they said they are in America right now. So will you be, are you concerned that this could look like trafficking and for your company?
No, the thing is, so many people are going to Nicaragua. Nicaragua is a center for tourism. And, if you have the stamp or the visa of Nicaragua, you can walk into any of the four countries, between Nicaragua and Mexico. You can walk into any country, and you are free to, tour around, the Americas. So if you personally, if one person is like, okay, well, I want to go to America, from Nicaragua, for us as a company, we are meticulous in our ways. We make sure, like, every requirement that country asks, you will have it. Every hotel bookings that you need to do, you will have it. And every because even the aircraft involved, is at risk. Like, because that's the reason, we pay for their return ticket, we pay for their going and their return ticket. So if the airline has to go back, and then, he finds the airline, finds no one, it finds no one on the ground to get on board, to take them back to their countries, then, the people disappear. So it's like, the airline wouldn't be held responsible for bringing them, because the airline has come back to pick them up. It's just that, there were nobody, to be found, because they've all absconded.
The people that you have taken, have anybody returned back?
We do not know of any, that have returned, but, we know of some, that were having some hiccups, and so they kind of felt that, they need to return back home because, they could not continue.
So a lot of people are concerned, especially Musayali Bachile is a politician, and he's the head of this company, right?
Yeah, Musayali is the head. It's a company of like a 50-50 partnership. Like, I am acting as one of the head, and he's also, the head. So it's like he's the managing director and I am the CEO. So it's just one name of a head, but with different names.
So is there any other Gambians apart from you and Musayali Bachili, or is just the two of you?
Like, no, we have a whole team, a whole agent. The agents are part of us, who are like working for us. Some agents are working for themselves and, just getting the clients. And, we have employees and the whole thing. So, but other people like, who are acquiring this kind of visas for people and, facilitating their trip for them. So I think, there are other people I may not know of, but I believe that we are not the only people doing it.
So like I said earlier, I know there are agents. For example, you guys are selling the package for $4,500, but the agents are selling it more than that. Some are selling it for $6,000 or $6,000. Now what happened? Because two of the people that I spoke to said they paid $6,000, but they have not paid directly to you guys. If that refund needs to happen, how is that going to happen? Because they have paid $6,000, but you guys are asking for $4,500. Now, how would you reconcile that?
Well, that will be, all on our refund policies, and which will happen, like, the moment, the flight has not landed on the 30th, we'll think about all of that, because we have our agents, with us, the agents that are 100% our own under our employee, and the agents that are not under our employee. We have to, decipher, the two types of agents, and then, we'll come to terms. And some agents we have warned, not to touch any money is given to them or their cut or whatsoever until everything is settled, and then they'll start enjoying their profits, but let them make sure that nothing is being touched in the monies given to them.
And to those people who are saying this is human trafficking that a political leader like Musayali Bachili is involved in, what would you say to those people? Because a lot of people are saying this is I have seen tons of videos on TikTok, on Facebook, people talking about, and when I spoke to you earlier, I said, look, Basamba, this sounds like human trafficking to me, but you told me obviously it's not. To those people who are convinced that this is human trafficking, what do you want to say to them?
Yeah, well, human trafficking usually, I don't know, like, how the term is being defined, but, in my understanding, like, when you take people and they want to go for tourism, or they want to go and resettle in another country, like as an immigrant in that country, and then make their way out to greener pasture. So and those same people are saying, like, because of some tardiness happening to their journey, those same people saying, look at me, I am part of it. I've been trafficked by, so-and-so person. Like, it's like very funny. You're like, okay, well, I want to go as a tourist. But the moment they said your flights are not available for this month, the flight will come, or this week, the flight will come next week. You, same person, goes on telling people that, hey, I paid my money into their account. I give them my money for them to, take me to Nicaragua. These people, they are traffickers. So, how will that sound? It's like you, same customer who comes with your money voluntarily, not being forced, not being asked, not being promised anything. We do not promise them that when they go to Nicaragua, they'll be employed, or when they go to Nicaragua, they'll have like, a better life, than here. So they themselves, came and, they themselves volunteered. They accepted that, they are going to Nicaragua. And what we fix for them is that your documents should be intact, your visas should be intact, all the documentations that the government of Nicaragua would require from them. So these are the things that we make available for them. And if those things are available, then they are going as clean as a slate. They go in there like, as tourists, and whatever happens after Nicaragua, that's their own decision to make.
Finally, to the customers who have paid to your company and they're worried, they're concerned that this travel may not happen, and what do you want to tell them and the entire Gambian population who might want to do this kind of business with you in the future? What message do you want to tell first the customers that you have right now and the entire Gambian population? Because I see a lot of people telling me this is human trafficking, and they are saying it's, a lot of people are also concerned. What message do you want to tell first the customers and also then the entire population?
Yeah, what I want to tell the customers is that if any customer is having the intention to pass through Nicaragua from there to go to the U.S., family members, in the U.S., some of them, their family members in the U.S., would even tell them that, this is a good opportunity for you to come. It's not a Trump administration, it's Biden. It's a Biden administration. It's not a Trump administration anymore. And so, you guys, will be having the biggest opportunity of your life to travel, to come to the USA. So this is the time, you have to venture into the journey of coming to the Americas and then to the US. So we are only, facilitators. We are only facilitators of, making that journey, because the destination they want is Nicaragua. We give them the Nicaraguan visa. We give them the destination to Nicaragua. And from there, they venture with their own pocket monies, with their own knowledge, with their own risk, to take.
But Mr. Basamba, are you not already saying that this is an opportunity for people to go to the United States? Is that not itself?
No, I'm saying, the family members of the people, will tell them. We have family members of, these customers who will be telling them that this is the opportunity, that it's a Biden administration now.
Okay.
The borders are open, for the people to go. So why not them, try? And we are facilitators, to giving them the job to go to Nicaragua. And from Nicaragua, they find their way with the help of their families, give with their own pocket money to go through Nicaragua and continue their journey. Because after Nicaragua, after we take them to Nicaragua, and after Nicaragua, we are no longer, guiding them to go through. So we'll give them the route, if they want to.
Okay. So, and to the Gambian people, any message? Because a lot of people are concerned that a lot of money is...
To the Gambian people, I'll tell them, I don't know whether I'm allowed to do any marketing in the platform, for the people to fill up the
I'm going to have to send you a bill, you and Musa Ali Bachili, for that.
No problem. The thing is, the flight is there and the flight is, available. So we still have still there's 100 more, seats that are available. And, if we can fill the 260.
But are you still advertising when you are not even able to take the 235 that you have collected money from? And you're still advertising?
No, because we have 560, aircraft. We have 560 aircraft. If, more people pay, we bring the 560. That will go. If at all, only 235 we have in. So, we have, maybe 15 more to fill up the 250. So if that's available, we bring the flight. It's not that, we don't, it's about the availability is there. It's not that, we can't take the 250 customers. It's just that, the hiccups that were happening, like we said before, the landing permits, those are the major things. And if we have those landing permits, on the 30th, the flight will go, inshallah.
If it doesn't go on the 30th, I'll have you. Actually, Musa Ali Bachili promised to speak to me when he comes back. You guys are out of the country because of the flight issues, but we will have to sit down and have a conversation, because I think this is even a more serious issue for him as a politician, and his name involving in something like this. But also, I think it needs to be more clear as to what is the definition between this and human trafficking. But again, like I said, we will talk to him when he comes back. Thank you very much for just clearing the air for us. I will leave that to the followers to see what they make of this. And thank you for talking to us. My regards to Bachili. I'll talk to him when he gets back.
No worries. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Basamba Drame, right? Basamba
Muhammad Drame.
Basamba Muhammad Drame. And this is definitely different from the other Basamba. I want to make it clear.
Definitely different from the other Basamba. Definitely. The other Basamba is my nephew, a good friend. So, it's definitely different from the other Basamba.
Okay.
He was here in Nigeria also. He called me that, uncle, I'm in Lagos, in Nigeria. Whilst I was in Abuja, I'm in Abuja, and, he was in Lagos, so, we could not see.
Okay.
So that was the misunderstanding that happened. So some people even called and we you guys, you're lying to us. I've seen Basamba. Basamba is in the Gambia. So, once, they mistook that other Basamba to me.
Oh, Oh, okay.
So they thought that, because they knew that, he was here. And so he came to Lagos. We didn't even see, me and Basamba didn't even see. So, he went back, and some other people were like, Basamba came from Nigeria, he's in the Gambia. And some people had to call me and said, I've been told that you are back. And because most of these customers, we don't even see them. It is the agents who brought their monies and everything. We only see their passport and fix it. So that's all we did.
Basamba, I know you are a U.S. resident, right? And you are right. I don't want to. You are a Gambian U.S. You are not. You don't live in the Gambia,
no,
right?
I'm Gambian. I've never been to U.S.
Oh, you have never been to the U.S. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Then okay. But I just wanted to say, I know Allah, if anybody sees this from the U.S., they will tell you this is human trafficking. So if you are somebody who lives in the U.S., that would have been a little different. But yeah, you are not from the U.S. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not from the U.S.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you for talking to us. All right. Thank you.
Hey.
So yeah, Uncle Lare,
Yes.
before we get to our topic, what do you make of this?
No, I'm not commenting on this.
You're not commenting. What do you think?
I think they have a lot of explaining to do.
They do. I think so too.
Nicaragua is actually a junction for those who look to go into America from South America and Central America. So the minute he said Nicaragua, my antennas just went up like that.
And I know people that they have taken who are right now in the U.S.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there is no way they can run away from
that element
of human trafficking. Because it's highly unusual for Gambians to go to Nicaragua for tourism.
Tourism, yeah.
Well,
but let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes.
Yes.
Let's see how it goes. Somebody said add volume, Fatou. Charles, can you please increase Uncle Lare's volume, please? Uncle Lare, so today our topic is about the Gambia, Senegal. We were talking about Senegalese politics, but how it affects the Gambia, right? In 4 months, Senegal will choose a new president. And we know it's definitely not President Macky Sall because he's not running. Yes, his party is putting up a candidate, Amadou Ba. We enjoy a very good relationship with Macky Sall. President Barrow and President Macky Sall are just like brothers. So we enjoy a lot of goodwill. I believe our trade policy, Senegal wins, is a win-win for Senegal than us. That is my belief. But there are so many other things like the energy, the security, where Senegal is giving us a lot of support. I don't know whether to call it support. First, what is your assessment of what is happening in Senegal right now?
The last time I was on your show, we talked briefly about the situation in Senegal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that situation hasn't changed that much.
Yeah.
Except for 2 major movements. Movement number 1, a judge in Ziguinchor has ruled that Sonko has to stand as a candidate, should be re-enlisted
in the electoral roll. Yeah.
In the electoral roll. And the second major occurrence earlier today was Sonko's emissaries going to the Supreme Court and them not being allowed to
the DG of the election board, to receive the
to receive the forms and stuff,
they
were denied access. These are concerning developments, not just for Senegalese or even Gambians, but for West Africa, as a whole. You see, for me, the core principle behind any system that calls itself democratic has to be anchored on respect for the rule of law. If a judge renders a judgment and a sitting government is refusing to carry out that judgment, you have to question their democratic credentials. And it's not something I expected, but I'm not also overly surprised that it happened that way. Why am I not surprised? I think the Senegalese situation has reached a point where it has become personal between President Sall and Ousmane Sonko. And Senegal is not going to have a win-win situation in that regard. And if Senegal doesn't have a win-win situation from it, Gambia definitely is not going to have a win-win situation. Why do I say it is personal? I said the last time that I thought President Sall would go down in history as one of the best presidents Senegal has produced because of his vision, this Senegal emergent. It's a masterpiece of a blueprint for taking a country from different levels. And he has started implementing some of those things, and they are accruing to him. But this business with Sonko, I feel, is destroying that legacy. Because at the end of the day, people are going to just remember him as the guy who locked up his opponents, as the guy who prevented his opponent from contesting an election. And I don't think that is going to be good for him after he leaves the presidency. Now, in my view, I think there are core issues that obviously President Sall and his party are concerned about. And there are also core issues that Ousmane Sonko and his party are adamant about. And what is that? Accountability.
Why should anybody be scared to be accountable of what you have done? President Macky Sall, I said, you know, I think for me, Ablaye Wade was my favorite president of Senegal. But when he started
messing with
Macky Sall, and because of his son, I turned my back, and I'm like, no, this cannot be nepotism. This cannot be like what
dynastic thing,
you know, from you to your son. And he started putting Macky Sall through all of these things. From sacking him from being the vice president, and then making him the speaker, and then sack him from that too, and then he became an opposition. Nobody saw that he was even going to be the president. And Senegalese people stood by him because they were upset with what he was doing to him. Exactly that is what is happening today. Ousmane Sonko was working at the Import Domain. He was sacked because of his political opinions. He set up his own party. He went through all of this. I don't know what he hasn't gone through. Everybody knows what happened. But now, you know, this Ajisar case, when the contumace issue happened, he took it to the judge in Ziguinchor. And Macky Sall himself has said he is going to leave, but he's going to implement every ruling that a court makes. And a lot of people said that was for, you know, he was saying that basically to make sure to do that to Sonko, so that all the decisions that courts have taken against Sonko will be implemented. So it's now this particular judge had ruled that Sonko should not be removed from the electoral roll. He should be integrated back, and he gave an order. Today, I went to the DG to receive the form. They refused to give him access. And even the bailies that went to took the notice, they didn't give him access, and they didn't say no though. I don't know why, but they didn't give them access.
But for me, the most significant about that, excuse me, is the fact that it's a sitting member of the National Assembly that took the paperwork. Now, that's not just an ordinary citizen. This is an elected, important personality in Senegal's political system. To deny him access to a government building, for me, you know, I just said, oh, wow.
But what about the bailies, who is a government employee?
Exactly.
Who came to just deliver the notice from the judge. He was also denied access.
He was also denied. But it's the same principle. I'm saying these are not just ordinary citizens from the streets. The one is a National Assembly member, and one is an officer of the court, delivering a court decision to a government entity. And they are denied access to that entity, and they are denied from submitting those forms. I don't know what is going on, but this cannot all go well for Senegalese politics. And you know, when I got this call to come and talk about this thing, I started thinking. Gambia went through something in 2016. Yeah. And I think it is still fresh in some of our minds. The question that immediately came into my mind, looking at how Gambians suffered just going into Senegal, the first thing that came into my mind was, what kind of contingencies do we have as a country for a scenario where a bunch of Senegalese decide to come into the Gambia as a result of either pre-election violence or post-election violence? Do we have a contingency to deal with that? And then I started thinking, what are the best ways that government can prepare itself for that eventuality? Yeah. Because if what happened today continues, that's where we're going to end up. And I think this government will be well advised to consult the UN system, particularly the resident coordinator, IOM, and the other bilaterals, to start doing some contingency planning and pre-positioning assets that could help a bunch of people if they decide to walk across the borders. We know the borders are all porous. Literally from Balengo all the way to Koina, and from Koina all the way to Katong, Senegalese can just walk in. And I don't think we will be prepared to host them in the event that the situation there descends into political chaos.
I hope we don't get to that situation.
I hope so too.
I hope so. But what I want us also to look at more today is the impact of who wins
the election
on Gambia. Today, like I said earlier, we have a very good relationship with
Senegal, yes.
And our two presidents are like brothers, like they call each other brothers. We heavily rely a lot on Senegal. Let's start with energy, right? I remember there was a report at some point on Point newspaper that there was a time Senelec cut our electricity supply, and we were having issues with electricity power connections, and the president himself had to intervene to call Macky Sall. I think Sankara even said it on Coffee Time, right?
Coffee Time, yes.
We enjoy that kind of relationship. Macky is not going to be there. Now, it's either Amadou Ba, if Sonko doesn't run, one of his people will run, because they have taken 5 forms just in case Sonko doesn't don't let him run. Somebody from his party will definitely run. There is Halifa Sallah, there is Karim, who is also supposed to run, and some other political opposition parties. Now, do you think the Gambia will enjoy such good relationship with Senegal apart if Macky Sall is not there? And what should we do now to prepare ourselves for situations like that? We don't know what Amadou Ba's policies are going to be towards Senegal. We don't know what Sonko's administration's policy are going to be towards Gambia. We don't know what Halifa Salah's will be towards us. How should we prepare, especially in the energy sector?
You know, this is, for lack of a better description, this is an existential issue. Existential in the sense that we can assume that if Ba gets elected president, he will continue Macky's policies.
Okay.
We can assume that. And if there are changes to it, they're not going to be drastic changes. I have no idea how Halifa Saleh is going to be looking at the Gambia, or Karim Wade. Usman Sonko, on the other hand, and his party, have been on record to say, we are not interested in what Senegal is doing in the Gambia or in Guinea-Bissau. He said that 2 or 3 different times. So you can expect some changes if Usman Sonko becomes president, and those changes are not necessarily going to be bad changes for Senegal or for the Gambia. Basically, he's saying, I'm not interested in being big brother to anybody.
We have to be independent.
We have to be independent. We have to respect each other's sovereignty, and we have to have mutual respect and regard for each other.
Should that be what we the Gambians should want also?
Exactly. That this is whoever wins. We want a situation where the good brotherly relationship that Gambia has with Senegal is maintained, 1. 2, that some of the agreements that have been signed may be reviewed. We have to be prepared for that case scenario to say some of the agreements may be reviewed either by them or by us to see if they are actually in the best of our national interests. And if they are not, they can be renegotiated. I am of the opinion that that is the direction that we may likely see. The electricity thing,
especially the electricity thing,
for me is, and again, Nawek is going to say he's critical of us and stuff. But my issue is no sovereign country should depend on another sovereign country for its power supply. Once we agree on that, then we can go to the next stage of what do we do to become energy independent.
That is the fact.
Yes. Yeah. What do we do to become energy independent? And if NAWAC is investing in alternative energy sources other than Senelec, more power to them. I'll applaud them. Yeah. But the silence, the secrecy in the agreements that have been signed does not allow public opinions to fester, and that is why everybody is speculating what is in it, what is not in it. We need to have a little bit of transparency or a little bit of information regarding these issues, because we should be concerned about them. I think Guinea-Bissau, in the last 5 or 6 days, Guinea-Bissau has been having the same electricity problems that we've been having, only theirs is much more serious, because they are getting their energy from Kerr Fatou, the same Turkish company.
Who we have them here.
Who we have here. And the figures that are being used is they owe about 17 million. And Kerr Fatou is insisting that they pay. And if they don't pay, they cut the power supply. So we are in double jeopardy, sort of. We have a contract with Kerr Fatou and we have a contract with Senelec. And I hope we are paying our bills, and I hope it doesn't end up getting to a point where the two presidents have to sit based on their relationships and solve these problems. These are national issues. They should be solved in the national arena. Yes, personal relationships between presidents matter greatly. They are important, and they can actually break grounds in terms of breaking the gridlock of negotiating among ourselves. I don't think we should rely on the good offices of a future president of Senegal to say, yes, I like Gambia, let's continue supplying energy to them, or no, I don't like Gambia, let's cut off their energy supply. I don't think we should, as a country, we should put ourselves in that situation.
Because the reason why I say it's important we have these conversations, President Macky Sall will call Senelec and say, I know Gambia hasn't paid, but you know, let's connect them back. But will a President Ousmane Sonko do that? Would a President Halifa Sallah do that? Would a President Amadou Ba do that for Gambia? Is it not time for us to look at what we need to do before this happens? I know it's 4 months, 5 months to elections, but there are certain things we are really dependent on, especially in the energy sector. What Nawek says, they are doing a lot of expansions. Are we feeling it as a people right now? No. Maybe it's because of the work they're doing. But what exactly do you think Nawek should focus on now going forward? We don't know details of the contracts they have signed, so we cannot delve into that more. But from an outsider perspective, what do we need to do?
We need to be energy independent. How do we get to be energy independent? The generating capacity needs to be increased in order to meet for the supply to meet the demand. If the generating capacity is not there, we need to create new generating capacity. We need to invest in new renewable energy, solar power, for example. And we need to also look at energy sources other than fossil fuels and solar into biomass and all those other mix of energy sources that can make us be independent from any external source of energy. Now, if there was a public conversation that is led by NAWEC, because it's the institution that should be leading that kind of a national conversation, maybe these things will become clearer for all of us, and it will limit the ability to speculate and to just misinform or disinform. But that is not happening, and so I think Gambians are just waiting for NAWEC to tell them what is going on, or for them to see our national energy grid to either survive or not survive post Macky Sall.
Let's look at the security sector. I know that we have relied on, ECOMIC, but mostly the Senegalese contingent in Casamance. And we all know, if we have a President Ousmane Sonko who is from Casamance, I don't know if that situation will continue, because the people of Fonyi and the people of Casamance are not very receptive to that idea of having military men in their farms and, having issues there. Sometimes some people have been killed because of some issues that is happening between them. I don't think President Ousmane Sonko will push forward with that idea. Amadou Ba might. Halifa Sallah, I haven't heard them say anything about Gambia, but when it comes to our security, we are heavily dependent on ECOMIC when it comes to the presidency, and the Senegalese soldiers are there. When you go to the border, you have the Ghanaian contingent and the Nigerian, but then you have the Senegalese contingent in Casamance. What do you foresee when there isn't President Macky Sall? Macky was able to do all of this because 2026, he led the Gambian agenda to the United Nations. 2016, when the former president refused to go, and he took that resolution, and he took ownership, and that brotherly neighborhood has been there since then. What do you think is do you think it's going to be different if we have a new leadership in Senegal in 4 months, which is definitely going to happen? I don't know who is going to be, but there will be a new president.
You know why I say if Amadou Ba wins, we are likely to see a continuation of
Macky
Sall policies. But we have to always remember that when Ousmane Sonko was making the statement that we cannot afford to be big brothers to Gambia or to Guinea-Bissau, we have our own issues. We need to focus on our internal issues to resolve them: poverty, education, health, and all of that. When he said it, Halifa Sallah was with him.
But they're not together anymore.
They're not together anymore, and that's why we can't speculate what Halifa is likely to do. But you can bet 80–85% if you go by what Ousmane Sonko has said. I don't think he will continue having the kind of security relationship that we had with Macky Sall. The realities of the presidency may dawn on him for him to change his mind and engage the Gambia to find alternatives. It's one thing to be in the opposition and saying what when you are actually a president, the situation sobers you up.
Especially when you see the national, you see the intel and all of this.
So I think we will, either way, we will see some tweaking, but I think internally Gambia needs to focus on having our own security in State House, in Fonyi, and elsewhere. If our Gambian National Army cannot do that, then let them tell us we can't do it, and then we can find alternatives. But I think they have done a great job securing the border areas, Gambian National Army. And I think we should give them the benefit of the doubt to say, this is your country. Constitutionally, you are required to defend the territorial integrity of the Republic of the Gambia.
Is this an issue of the army, or is this a policy issue? Because the Gambian National Army, since the change of government, have really been one that we all admire right now when it comes to the discipline in the army. We don't see the army directly getting involved in politics. They have gone back to the barracks. We have seen this nice culture of, just a few days ago when the CDS was retiring, we had how he said the policy that they have implemented, and he hoped the new CDS will take along. So the army has been doing tremendously well in our phase, right? So is it more of a policy issue or is it the army per se?
Nobody is saying or blaming the army. I think the outgoing CDS has done a tremendous job professionalizing the Gambia National Army based on the findings of the TRRC. I think he has done a great job. And I think he has left an incredible legacy to that effect. Whether that will continue is left to be seen. So it's not the Gambia National Army necessarily. The executive has to decide, the legislature has to decide to say it's about time we take control of our own national security. Then it happens. I mean, I am actually a bit surprised, having served in countries where there are UN missions, that this ECOWAS mission has been here 6 years, 7 years now. It's expensive. And when you put the money together, you will begin to question, well, why are we spending all this money on these people when we have our own national army that can do basically the things that these guys are doing? So it's a policy shift that the president has to make. And only him or only he can make that, because he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
I know me and you are both not security experts, but ECOMIC says they're winding down because the EU who are not funding this anymore. I think they're winding down. But still, we have seen some issues, the shooting in Jabang traffic light, and some other, a lot of killings and other things that people are still concerned about. So all of these things, sometimes, government officials will tell you, we know what you don't know. So we think, I had the former army commander here, Samsidin Saar, he said if he's to advise President Barrow, he would tell him not to let ECOMIC go. They should stay for his entire presidency. That's what he said. Because he was an army officer. So for somebody like him to say that, maybe there are things that they know that they don't know.
Yeah, but you know what? I think President Barrow knows his own limitations than anybody else. I don't believe when Samsidin Saar says he doesn't think ECOMIC should leave so long as Barrow is president. What does that tell us? Doesn't it tell us that Barrow is not secure enough to depend on the GNA to secure him? I mean, if I was a supporter of President Barrow, I'll really take exception to that kind of a statement from somebody like that. Because basically, he's sending a message that says, we can't trust them. If you can't trust your own national army, who do you trust? I think there are reasons, as you rightly say, there are reasons why ECOMIC is here. You don't know, I don't know, because we are not privy to certain security-related issues and information. So that's why I said earlier, President Barrow is the one who can determine whether this thing continues or not continue, and how to end it in terms of phasing it out or even replenishing it. He's the one who knows, because he's briefed every morning on the state of security in the country. Now, when it comes to the shooting of the police officers, I just, every time I talk about it, I say I extend my condolences to their families. But that sends a reverberating message internationally to say that we are not safe or secure. the burglaries, the break-ins, the rate, murder rate that is going on in this country all suggest that the Gambia is not as safe and secure as we make it to be. And I think it serves the president right to clamp down on that one. Secure the streets and the public places that we used to enjoy. There was a time you could walk anywhere in this country, including the Senegambia Strip, any time of the day, 24/7. Nobody even looks at you. You can't do that now. So it's up to the president to decide whether he is secure enough to face economic out or he's not secure enough to leave them.
Now let's look at the economy, our economic situation with Senegal. I mean, I heard, the ports, when the ports say, it helps that some of our transactions happen in Senegal. A lot of us laughed about that because that means Senegal taking money directly from us, right? But again, they are our big brothers. I think that is acceptable, isn't it?
No, it's not.
It's not?
Mo bukala fila big brother kodo bondi bu. Itele ka kodo bondi la big brother bu. Well, no, itele nyanta bondi le koto mabu. No, again, perception matters.
Yeah.
When I heard that statement, we are better off, or it's to our advantage. I think those were the lines. It's to our advantage for our goods to land in Dakar and return. Come on.
Yeah.
When they land in Dakar, you're paying something. When you transport it into the Gambia, you're still paying something.
Yeah.
As opposed to just landing in your port and clearing it in your port.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
No, it's not.
Our advantage is to make our port vibrant, to make it competitive, and to make it accessible.
Yeah.
If we can't do that, we're going to depend on Senegal. And I'm with you on the trade side. I think since independence, from Senghor, Abdou Diouf, Abdoulaye Wade, they've tried to make Gambia a little bit more integrating into Senegal. And I don't think they have succeeded that much. But Macky Sall was able to do it because the leadership in the Gambia post-Jammeh allowed it to happen. I think our economic relationship with Senegal is so lopsided that it's not funny. Listen, you go to the Lumos in the provinces.
Yeah.
When the Senegalese come to our Lumos, they come with CFA, the franc CFA. They negotiate in franc CFA. They pay in franc CFA. Well, excuse me, based on our constitution, the dalasi is our legal tender in the territory of the Republic of the Gambia.
But they even pay the ferry in...
Yes, we should insist the dalasi to be. You know, the fact that we are accepting that proposition has an impact on our rate of inflation. It drives up our inflation. We shouldn't accept that.
I was watching this show a few days ago, and there's this President Macky Sall supporter who was speaking about Macky's achievement.
Yep.
And this particular person mentioned directly
Gambia,
our bridge,
yeah,
the Senegambia bridge, and said this bridge is Macky Sall mo sampa bridge. Well, and the guy said, no, bridge Gambia la mune no, Macky moko ubi, Macky moko sampa.
Yeah.
And I almost cried. I could not believe they were made to believe that that bridge was built by Macky Sall. And they could sit on national television and even say that.
But he is not the only one who said it. A sitting MP also said it on the floor of the Senegalese parliament. This is where you realize that Macky single-handedly was able to achieve a foreign policy objective that Senghor, Abdou Diouf, Abdoulaye Wade could not do.
Why? I mean, during Jammeh time, I remember even when because this is one of the issues that had always been an issue, is the transport unions.
Yeah.
When they close their borders, he closes our borders. And we all suffer at the same time because, and they suffer more because
no, it's true.
Nothing comes from Dakar, nothing goes to Gaza. All of their food and everything comes from Casamance, right? So when he closes that end of the road, they suffer more than us. And he knows how to do that. But that is not what we want as a people. We want a nicely neighborliness, right? But with this, now with this new administration, I have seen, in fact, there was a time the transport union, they were complaining about how many cars the Senegalese side were accepting to go to Senegal. Meanwhile,
from Gambia.
For them, they can come in. There's no exception. They can come in hundreds and thousands. But for us, there were a limitation as to how many vehicles. Even the GPTC bus, there were a number of buses that could go in a day.
And that is still.
Why is it always like that? When we go to negotiations with Senegal, they always have to win.
That is still the case on the transport side. And recently also a fisheries agreement, I saw it on social media, a fisheries agreement has been signed between the Ministry of Fisheries and the Senegalese Ministry of Fisheries. Well, let me go to the core of the issue of what you are talking about. You know, there is this concept of reciprocity, reciprocal arrangements between countries and even individuals. What Senegal is good at is to accede to all the protocols that ECOWAS has enacted. They will accede to them, but they will never enact them in terms of domesticating those protocols into their local laws. And this is why the Senegalese government minister can stand and say, we have no control over our unions.
Transport unions, yes.
They have control over the transport union. It is the government versus an entity. So Senegal does not domesticate ECOWAS protocol, especially the protocol on the free movement of goods, services, and people. And this is why we have this lopsided relationship. Now, Jammeh being savvy in terms of dealing with the Senegalese, whenever they decide they're going to misbehave, he says, okay, two can do this thing. You close, I close. But the problem is still not solved. Gambian vehicles are subject to some of the most stringent searches that you will find in Senegal. Recently, I crossed the Senegambia Bridge, went into Dakar. I think I counted the number of checkpoints where I had to pay. And according to the ECOWAS protocols, I shouldn't be doing that. And according to me, Senegalese who are coming in, like I'm going into Senegal, should also be paying. But they are not paying. We are respectful of the protocols that we sign, and Senegal is not. And that is why we have a serious trade imbalance issue with them. But any Gambian government that decides to take that matter up, we're going to have a crisis, trust me. Because Senegal is used to having their way with us when it comes to these economic issues. And they are not going to change anytime soon unless we take certain actions which are external to both Dakar and Banjul. Meaning, go to the ECOWAS court, sue them for violating the ECOWAS protocols on the movement of goods and people, and then goods and services, and engage. The two countries need to now sit down and decide, are we going to have a fair relationship or not? If we can't have a fair relationship, there is no reason to have a relationship, is it? There is no reason.
But the last presidential council meeting, you know, when we had President Macky Sall here, I mean, the President Macky Sall speaking in Wolof said, you know, some of these things, we don't even have to go to the president. The ministers themselves can solve this. You know, some of these things don't need to be even escalated. We have the Senegambia Secretariat here, right? And then we have our presidents being closed. Why do we have to go to ECOWAS? Can't we solve this as brothers and sisters? Just go back to the table and look at these protocols that we are signing, or go back to the negotiating table, maybe involve the unions, because it's always the unions. The governments will tell you, because I remember the other time having the Gambia Transport Union president here, and this was the issue. They talked with government, and government convinced them as to what they want them to do. They agree, but they cannot get the other part to do that. When they talk to the Senegalese government, they'll tell them union bila munin ci dara, and that is kind of crazy. They cannot stop them. They cannot do anything.
You see, that's
because is it because the unions are stronger in Senegal?
No,
they have more powers.
No, the government hides behind the unions in order to not to fulfill its international obligations to us. How can a union tell a government no? How? If Senegal had domesticated these ECOWAS protocols, and if they are enforcing them, they shouldn't put a limit on Gambian vehicles, commercial vehicles going in and out of Dakar. It should be a supply and demand thing. If the price is right, you take a Senegalese vehicle. If the Gambian price is right, you take a Gambian vehicle. That is not happening. Senegal is limiting the number of commercial vehicles that can ply the roads into Dakar and elsewhere, and Gambia is giving them free entry.
Access,
So we need to fix that.
And how do we go to the ECOWAS? That's the only solution.
No, I think we should engage the presidency in Senegal. When Macky says it shouldn't even get to my level and President Barrow's level, the minister, he knows he's just using words. It doesn't happen that way. He is the one who is going to tell his minister, do this, and it happens. Barrow is the one who is going to have to tell his minister to go and do this, and it happens. So, time and time again, anybody who has been involved in the Gambia-Senegal relationship at some point or time will tell you, with Senegal, when they negotiate with the Gambia, Senegal never loses.
They never loses. Are they a better negotiator?
No. I think Gambians just let them on. It's about time, what the Americans call eyeball to eyeball. We say to them, no, you have signed these ECOWAS protocols, domesticate them.
But again, I mean, I don't blame Senegal for that.
No.
Because I think it's more of, when it comes to national interest, they don't look at any of these things, right?
Only Senegal.
They are always in uniform. They always come with one voice when it comes to the Senegal interest of Senegal. Is it not our fault as Gambia to also come in a unified voice when we go to these negotiating tables? Because at the end of the day, what I just don't understand, for example, when we say, Gambia, you can have 10 vehicles or 20 vehicles flying, or you could say GPTC, who is even our national carrier, you can only have 5 buses a day. When Senegal
sometimes
have no
one bus a day.
When Senegal don't have any limits. How can that even be anything anybody could even put at the negotiating table?
But this is what I said earlier, Fatou. I said, I don't blame Senegal, because Senegal is working incessantly to achieve its national interests in their relationships with everybody, not just the Gambia.
There's not just the Gambia, yes.
Yeah, with everybody. Gambia, are we doing the same thing? How do we negotiate with Senegal on this transport thing, and we allow any number of Senegalese vehicles to just fly into the Gambia, and we let Senegal determine, even for our GPTC, the number of buses that can go into Dakar and out, and then the commercial vehicles. But there is another element to this, and that element is, I think the Gambia goes into these negotiations feeling, well, they are our brothers. For me, that's the only explanation. They are our brothers. But there is no brotherhood when it comes to politics and negotiations. It's your interest that you go after. So it's about time our guys just buckle up. You know, somebody was telling me some time ago, these customs, our customs guys were negotiating with Senegal. And the scenario he painted saddened me, because it was like, it's just a formality. we know what the outcome is going to be. It shouldn't be a formality.
No, it shouldn't.
You should walk into a negotiating room with a set of objectives. How am I going to achieve those objectives? And you stick to it. What is good about all of these things, though, is that even though we say it's not politics and stuff, what is good about these things is that all these agreements can be subject to review. If we decide that it's about time we play hardball with Senegal so that we become, there is parity between our economic relationships, it will create a problem between us. Because then the big brother, little brother syndrome is thrown out the window. It becomes national interest only.
Yeah.
You know what Usman Sonko once said? I listened to that guy very carefully. He said, I am not interested in what is going on in the Gambia regarding Senegalese security. That's not my interest. And he says, those of you who say Gambia is so small, it should be part of Senegal, he says Senegal is insignificant, just like Gambia is insignificant in the larger scheme of things. He says what is significant in all of West Africa is Nigeria. And then he says we should all come together. Those who speak French form a bloc. Those who speak English form a bloc. And we have a strong economic bloc on both sides. And that way, Senegal does its thing, Gambia does its thing, we all benefit from it.
But even if it's Usman Sonko, when he comes, if he becomes the president in February, when it comes to policy, trade and policy issues, he is going to look at the Senegalese interest.
He will change.
Look at the fishing industry. Look at the fishing industry. Now you can.
They've taken it over. I mean, let's just cut the chase.
Okay.
They've taken it over. When you go to Tanje, Brufut, Katong, Gunjur, they've taken over. Even in Balengo, the fish that we buy in Soma comes from the Balengo side, and it's Senegalese fishermen. So we've lost it. And when you say it, they say, oh, he's critical. I'm not being critical. Yeah. I'm saying, when I go to buy fish in Tanje, I sit there and it saddens me that Gambians are just good enough to be bananas when it comes to fish. We don't go into the sea to fish like the Senegalese do. And when the fish lands, guess who offloads it? It's the Guineans, the Malians, the Guinea-Bissawians, the Senegalese. And then they supply our fishmongers. That is the chain. So the value added aspect of our fishing industry accrues to that chain, not to our fishmongers. Our fishmongers will go, they will buy fish, resell it, use that resell money to go to the market and buy things to cook their lunch or dinner for that day. That's what our Banawana women do. I talk to them quite a bit when I go there. I spend time to talk to them. And it's very frustrating because we have a bunch of young people who can go out and fish, are not fishing. Either they don't have the resources to do it, they don't have the equipment to do it. And so these Senegalese, they come with their boats and their nets and their everything, and they are fishing. Yeah. So Gambia needs to do some rethinking in terms of empowerment. You know, there was a time, I always tell this story when I go to time. There was a time I invested in a fishing boat with a good friend of mine from Brufut. And we hired, I think, 8, 9, 10 people from his family to go do this thing. This was way back in 1996, 97. Yeah. You know, these guys, they took our boat and all the equipment and stuff and sold it to Senegalese.
Wow.
Honeybee, it hasn't been sorted out. And it's the typical attitude to say, even if government were to give those kinds of assets for them, they are not likely to use it. Yeah. And I'm saying this authoritatively because when I was at the UNDP local office here, we had a UNCDF fisheries project. We bought several boats, all of them equipped, but the damn thing failed completely.
Our people also, the mindset.
Yeah. So there has to be a few things that we need to do. And primary, as far as I'm concerned, number one on that is the mindset change that Gambians need to have. When we deal with Senegal, we don't deal with them from an inferior position. We deal with them from a position of strength and with intelligence. And when we engage in business, we have to make up our minds to say, I need to be a millionaire from this business. You can't just say, okay, I'll do it a few months and stuff, get some money, resell my things, and then go the back way. It's not going to happen. You go to any of these beaches, I'm sure you do. All you see are young men sitting, not doing anything. One of them, when I had that fishing project in Tanje, he was there. Still, he is there. Same location. I come in there, Uncle, nsonga atayasa. You remember me? Yes, I remember. That was some 20-something years ago.
Yeah.
If he had done something with the assets that were the UN project put at their disposal, he could have hired me to work for him. Because we know there is money in that industry. That's why they come.
Yeah. So now that Senegal is going to have a new government in February, by then our president would have been more experienced than whoever is coming in, because whoever is coming in has not been president before. Amadou Ba was vice president. Ousmane Sonko has never been president. Halifa Sallah has never been president. Bugan Gay, all of those people have never been president, right? Whoever comes in will be new in the presidency. Would it not be right for Gambia to take advantage of this unique position we will be in, having a new Senegalese president? Now look, a new government, look at our trade policies and try to trade fairly with them, you know, fishing industry, the transport industry, or security, especially, you know, the hot pursuit agreement where a lot of people in Casamance feel like, you know, the Senegalese soldiers come in and out anytime they like and they don't feel comfortable. These are things that we need to look at when a new agreement is looked at, because when whenever Senegal gets a new president, the first country they visit is Gambia. When we get a new president, it's the same, because we are brothers and sisters, right? Now, what should be Gambia be doing now? Should we be looking at our agreements with Senegal and get prepared and anticipate for a new government where we can go in and say, hey, now this is how we want things to do? We are more at an advantage position because our president has more experience as the president than whoever is coming in, right?
Maybe, maybe not.
Well, definitely he should be more experienced.
He should be more experienced. The question is, will he demonstrate that experience? You know, I said something. We need to undergo a mindset change. It's a positive mindset change. President Barrow has to change his mind to be assertive when it comes to dealing with Senegal, with Guinea-Bissau, and his ECOWAS, other ECOWAS colleagues. He cannot be passive. If he continues to be passive, everything you are saying goes out the window. He has to change his mind to be more assertive and to be more visionary in terms of what he wants for the country. If he doesn't do that, the status quo remains. Or it may even get worse, because these are younger than Macky Sall, and they have a different worldview. They have a different worldview, and there is nothing that's going to stop them from taking us over if we give them the opportunity. It's not them, it's us. So, mindset change, State House, mindset change on the streets, mindset change in the offices, mindset change in terms of what our expectations of our government is about. If we cannot have that mindset change, there is no way we can prosper. It sounds like doom and gloom, but it is a fact. You know what the Nigerian president has been telling his people, especially when he goes abroad? Change your minds. be an assertive Nigerian. I know he says Nigerians can be assertive, but be more assertive.
Well, how more can Nigeria be more assertive?
Assertive, yes.
Yeah.
So he says we need to be assertive in order for us to grab that place that is ours on the international scene. It's the same principle. But you have to have brilliant people around you. Just look at Bola's appointment since he became president. I said it on another platform where I say, but he looks like he's sleeping, and so I said,
everybody, when I was supporting
watch this
him,
space.
Everyone was telling, why are you supporting this old man? I said, for some reason, I don't know, I just feel so positive about this man.
He made Lagos the economic power
yeah.
of Nigeria. I was in Nigeria at the time when he was governor. I saw his appointments, and he's demonstrating the same pattern that you have.
And he's been very radical as to
even sure of what he wants.
Yeah, he is very sure of what he's.
So his mindset is, I want Nigeria to sit on the UN Security Council and nobody can challenge us. That's what he wants, and he's going to get it.
Yeah, but look at what he's done with the central bank and all.
Yes.
That, yeah.
Now, President Barrow, in order to deal with whoever becomes president, also has to have a mindset change, which says, I need to be more assertive. I need to have a vision for my country, and I need to have a set of objectives on how to achieve those visions or that vision. If he does those three and he goes out and acts on it, we'll see a different relationship between us and Senegal.
Among all of these contenders, who you think is better for Gambia?
Sonko.
Oh, you are a Sonko supporter?
No, I don't support Sonko. I don't support any of them.
Not them,
but
why do you think Sonko? I'm a Sonko supporter now.
Okay.
On record, I always say that.
I don't support any one of them.
Okay. Why do you think Sonko would be better?
Because of his pronouncements.
Okay.
Sonko has a very strong Pan-Africanist point of view.
Yeah.
And if he gets an opportunity, he also can take Senegal to a different level. I'm not sure Karim can do that. I'm not sure Khalifa Saleh can do that. You look at around them, the people that they have around them, a lot of them have a lot of excess baggages.
Yeah, I don't support APR. I don't like Macky Sall now. I was a big fan of Macky.
Me too.
Until he did all of these things he's doing now. I think when it comes to infrastructure, he is very good. He's done a lot.
He's done well.
So much for Senegal.
He's done well.
And I look at Amadou Ba in a different lens, right? Amadou Ba is very calm and collected person. I don't know what his policies are going to be. What do you think of Amadou Ba, Vice President Amadou Ba? I like him. I mean, I want Sonko to be the president, not him, but I like his, you don't see him trading words with, being a little insensitive and saying stuff like that to his opponents. I don't see that, but I don't know, I don't know a lot.
But if you are poised to become president of a country, you don't go out to go after people.
Yeah.
Amadou Ba is Macky 2.0.
Oh.
They have the same style. I'm not sure he is going to be even more tolerant than Macky when it comes to opposing.
I mean, they have the same demeanor. They don't
exactly.
They don't
smile. They don't say
anything. Quiet,
now.
Yeah.
That is the kind of guy you need to watch out for. Now, Khalifa, we saw him when he was mayor of Dakar.
Yeah.
It's just razzmatazz, glitz and stuff.
Yeah,
it's not there.
He's not
now, this other guy, I don't support him. I don't support Khalifa. I don't support any of them.
Yeah.
Because I think Khalifa is not good for Senegal, will not be good for us. I don't think Karim has triple alliances in his background.
Yeah.
But Sonko, you can depend on him to be a straight arrow. If you judge by what he keeps saying, you can depend on him to, if he says, I'm not interested in making Gambia a little brother of mine, you can take it to the bank.
And he's been always...
That has always been his...
That's his track record. He's always done what he has said,
Yeah. So I want somebody that I don't have to worry too much in terms of reading and predicting. I want somebody that can tell me it is black or white or green or whatever. And I continue planning along those lines. I think among all of them, Sonko is the one that provides us with the best opportunity to have a fairer, more equal relationship than any of those other guys. And if I'm wrong, he assumes the presidency and turns out to be Macky Sall #2. I'll come on this show and tell your viewers
I don't think Sonko will be Macky #2.
Well, if he does, I'll come to...
Sonko is a Pan-African.
Yes.
He's a Pan-African,
yes.
And he's more radical, and he tells it as it is. He speaks his mind and he sticks by that. I mean, Sonko would have negotiated his way out just to get to the presidency, yes. But he is not doing that. Even has to go to jail because he doesn't want to negotiate his way out.
He has principles.
Yeah.
You know, when you have principles, it becomes a heavy burden on you, because you are saying, I look at myself in the mirror, I just can't do this.
Yeah.
And when you say that, you get to a point where you are ready to pay for any consequence that comes. And I think that's what he's doing. I'm not sure that's the best approach to take, but I think he has taken a stance that will be very difficult to back away from. And Macky has also taken a stance that is also very difficult to back away from. And there is no interlocutorship in between.
Why do you think Macky is doing everything to bar him from running? I know he has 3 cases. The Ajisar case went to an appeals court, and he was sentenced in absentia, which is the contumax. They arrested him. When you arrest somebody with contumax, it's supposed to fail. Yeah. They said, no, we haven't seen him, even when he's in their custody. And, you know, these people took him to court. His team went to court, and the judge said, look, you know, he was with you. The contumax is done. Yeah. Put him back in the register. Even when they were taking him out of the electoral roll, they didn't notify him. Yeah. They just did it. They didn't follow the procedure. So the judge ruled that he should be reinstated, and that's why he was reinstated. And they said, go back and take your paranage, right? And there's this Mambainya case, which is at the Supreme Court. Now, there have been cases at the Supreme Court for 12 years, like the Bartolome Jas Njaga case, where he was allegedly accused of killing the Njaga and the other people that he was allegedly accused of killing. It's at the Supreme Court. The case is now 12 years. It was since Ablai one time. Yeah. The Supreme Court has not ruled on that, and so many other cases. Yeah. Allegedly, there are about 200 cases before Sonko. Yeah. But yesterday, my friend Pap Ale 2 days ago said there were walks on the way to bring Sonko's case to the Supreme Court to rule on it. Yeah. Because now that they know that the Contumax case has fallen, if they go to the Supreme Court might even say the judge in Siganzor was right, and that will automatically make
they wouldn't
qualify.
Want to jeopardize themselves
now,
legally.
What they want to do is to force the Supreme Court to rule on the Mambayanyan case
before the
election, so that they don't even have to touch the Zigansor one. Yeah. That will just make him, you know, not qualify. Yeah. And people are saying, this is the Supreme Court of the land. They cannot pick and choose cases when they're, like, Supreme Court walks on line, who comes first and who comes second. There have been cases that have been in line for 10, 12, 7 years. How can you pick up a case that just came 4 months ago?
Yeah, you fast track it, but then this
is not an election case. This is between 2 citizens.
Yeah, it's a risky proposition. But to answer to your question, just recently I posted something on my Facebook account. It says, maybe if you read it,
feels like persecution to those who have never been held accountable. Oh, accountability feels like persecution for those who have never been held accountable. Oh, okay.
Macky is trying to have it both ways. Whatever he thinks he has done is in the public domain now. Yeah. And he doesn't want to be held accountable for it. And for me, that is the bottom line. That is what is pushing all these legal things that he's doing to Sonko. And I think Sonko also made a mistake.
Yeah.
By publicly announcing that if he became president, he's going to lock Macky up, his wife, his family, and stuff. You can't say that.
Yeah, you can. He's radical.
Even if you are thinking it, you do not verbalize it.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in a chair that you want.
And you're telling me that?
And you're telling me, you think I'll make it easy for you to sit on
allegedly, that's what Macky Sall told
exactly.
by Bartholomew Dias.
Yeah.
Sonko said Bartholomew told him that President Macky Sall mune, yo, dina def lum am yep ci dolem pour yow do musa nek candidat.
Exactly.
Kon ñewal nga bokk
So,
ci Halifa.
this is what it's all about.
But does it mean Sonko will win if he runs? Is that what Macky Sall is saying?
Well,
because he can run and not win.
Yeah.
Why don't you let him run?
Why would he take that risk? Why would Macky take that risk? Why would Macky take that risk to say, Harama Bai, let him run, Hejna du gagné? Given everything you now see in Senegal,
yeah.
If anybody tells you if they leave Sonko to run free, fair election, he won't win.
I hear people say by 12 they will know.
Yeah. So, Macky is protecting his interest. I don't think what he's doing is the right way to do it. You see, Fatou, I believe in engaging. If Sonko had made that statement, and I was sitting in Macky's situation, I'll call him. I'll say, Mbor, let's sit and talk. You want this chair. I'm sitting on it. If you announce you are going to lock me up and I decide I'm not going to allow you to do that, we have a gridlock of a country. So let's find a common ground. And you talk about a common ground and you find it. They will find it. But like I said, Sonko is entrenched in his positions. Macky is also entrenched in his positions. And there is no interlocutorship in between. Even Serinyi, the big marabouts that used to do that kind of thing, are just watching the two.
The thing is, Senegalese people, a lot of them feel like their leaders should not negotiate for position. See, that's why right now, Halifa Sallah is not anybody's cup of tea if you watch what is happening in Senegal.
I know.
Karim and the PDS are not anybody's cup of tea if you watch, because the people believe they have gone to negotiate with Macky Sall because they just want to be candidates. And the Senegalese people, the majority of the people are saying, that's not the kind of leader we want to lead our country.
Yes.
We want somebody who believes in something, somebody who believes in what he says and what he does. If you are going to negotiate, you are negotiating on our behalf, because I content, and that, you know, that what you're leaving might be something that the population wouldn't want.
But this is where a leader has to manage the expectations of his followers. And I use the word interlocutorship maybe 2 or 3 times. What do I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we all know it's a gridlock now.
Yeah.
And the end is going to be violent.
Yeah.
So, why don't some of the political leaders or religious leaders just engage these two? Let them sit and talk. You agree onto something and you say you do it on your honor. You are not going to backtrack on it. And it happens. I've been in a country where there was a lot of post-election violence, pre-election violence. For all intents and purposes, things are now coming out. The incumbent lost. And there is another president, neighboring country, who flew in and said to him, you don't step down. Let us negotiate. And they negotiated. A government of national unity was formed, and life continues. But the entrenched positions still are there. The difference is...
But then that is a problem there, right there, Mr. Ceesay.
Yes.
Because the people made a choice.
Yes.
See, for me, this is my thing. You know, the people made a choice. And the will of the people should be implemented no matter what. Whoever negotiates that, you are betraying those people.
I agree with you entirely.
Yeah.
It should not have gone to a point where somebody loses an election
and stays in
you are
power.
Helping that individual to
by
negotiate.
negotiating to stay in power.
I'm using it as an example to say We haven't gone to the elections yet.
Yeah, yeah. I'm saying, but scenarios like that, yeah.
It should be incumbent upon them, if they don't want to put Senegal on fire, for them to talk. If they want to put Senegal on fire, they should continue doing what they're doing. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Hopefully they will have a conversation. But hopefully, I know right now they're doing parrainage, and you know, I watched one interview yesterday. One of the politicians was going with Idrissa Seck, and he called on this radio and said, parrainage bi dafa metti kër boo dem ñu ne la ñun kenn la ñuy xaar Sonko. Sonko mu ngi prison, gars yi ñu bañ a parrainer. And I thought that was just one politician. No. And then there was this Pape Djibril Fall who came on and had an interview and was upset. A press conference said, you know, they go to people for them to sign their forms. Every candidate should have 50,000. Yeah. But the people are refusing to sign for the other oppositions. They said they're waiting for Sonko. Whoever Sonko backs, that's what who they're going to sign for. Yeah. And everybody is saying, but Sonko is in jail. He doesn't have a form. Why are you waiting for him? We are not signing for anybody except for Sonko. Is it this not the reason why Macky Sall doesn't want to let him run?
No, but I said it earlier. I think given all the things that are happening in Senegal, it's a foregone conclusion for anybody to assume that if Sonko is allowed to run, he will win. And I think Macky and his people know that.
Do you think if he backs, right now, if Sonko is not allowed to run, I know he has backed 5 people from his party have taken the form. A lot of people think Guy Marius Sagna might be their plan B if Sonko doesn't run. He's very famous, he's more like Senegal. He has been an activist. He has gone to jail over 100 times. You know, he
has a reputation.
He's very protective of Ousmane Sonko. He's always there with him. Do you think there are chances that if Sonko backs him and his party backs him, he might go to the second round?
If he can even win first round.
Wow. If Sonko backs him.
If Sonko backs him, he can. You know,
at this point, the people just want anything that can take Sonko out of jail.
Exactly, and they for some reason they've had it with Macky.
Yeah.
I go to Senegalese social media a lot.
And yeah, you see this system, what they say, buguñ system bi.
Yeah. It's the total systemic overhaul.
Macky system la, Amadou Ba system la, Halifa system la, Karim system la.
They want change.
This is the word you hear from everywhere in the Senegalese social media. Why do you think in Africa people want change? I'm bringing it to Africa now. I see in Liberia, the presidential election in Liberia is definitely going to a second round.
Yeah.
Because
as always,
Liberia president. Weah is like leading slightly. Yeah. Just before coming, I know they were doing there. Why do you think we are at this point in Africa?
43.
Yeah, they were just doing their last briefing before we were coming on this show. Why do you think we are at this point, even with when it comes to, you know, leadership now in Africa? We are seeing a lot of changes. We are seeing election getting closer and tighter. Why do you think? I mean, again, the opposition leader is a 78-year-old leader.
Yeah.
Where is much younger than him. But the people are rallying behind him a lot. With all the state power, though, the margin is not even up to 10,000.
Weah has lost the youth vote. Significant number of youths have not voted for George Weah. They were disappointed in him on 3 accounts.
Yeah.
When he came to power, you recall there was a container of currency that got lost at the ports. That hasn't been resolved. They're accusing him of being corrupt. And they're accusing him of not being visionary about supporting youth empowerment issues. Now, but we have to look at the Liberia situation slightly from a different lens.
Yeah.
To say, even when Ellen Johnson won the first time around, they had to go through a runoff.
Yeah.
And it was this close.
Oh.
Yeah, it was this close.
This close, yeah.
And then in her second running, she ran against George Weah. A lot of people thought Weah won, but it was also 40-something. They went to a second round and she won.
Yeah.
George Weah and the current former vice president of Ellen Johnson
yeah,
are going through the same thing. So 3 electoral cycles, you see the same pattern. At the end of the day, Weah is going to win.
You think so?
And they're going to question how he won, but he will win.
You think he will win?
I think he will win. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he will win. Just like Bio had won.
Yeah.
In Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
So something happens and then he wins and you inaugurate him quickly.
Yeah, that one was quick, yeah.
That's how they do it. Now, why do we start seeing those kinds of scenarios all over the continent? I think Africans have started feeling like their leaders are letting them down through corruption, through nepotism, and through ethnicity. People feel the nation state should transcend those 3 ideologies, if you may call them ideologies. Every election that you've seen, if you pay attention to it, even the ones that happened in Guinea, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, it's the same trend. People are tired of corruption.
Yeah.
People are tired of corrupt leaders. And people are saying, I want change. And like Senegal, they are saying, no, whoever is with the system,
we don't want you.
It's not just...
And it's evident that nobody from the system will win this election.
No.
Yeah.
Well, of course...
because of the number of youth registration I saw in Senegal.
No, everybody is registered.
The mobilization of the diaspora is overwhelming.
Everybody is registering. I never rule out what incumbents are capable of doing.
Yeah.
I never rule that out. One of the things that I am very, very leery about, not concerned, but leery about, is the possibility that the election results could be perceived, to have been stolen by Macky and his engine, political machine. If that happens, the end result is going to be devastating. And this is why I keep saying Gambia needs to have a contingency for that. Unless, of course, we say, oh, no, it's not going to happen. And if it happens, our usual brotherly thing, they come in and we put them in different compounds. And they are taken care of by those people. But if you look at it strictly from a scenario planning perspective, we need to be ready for a scenario where it could plausibly be Ba wins by a small margin, and when people perceive, it's stealing, and they go out on the streets.
Nobody thinks Ba. I think you're the only one perceiving even that.
No,
I mean, you talk to every political analyst, they'll tell you, but again, like you're right, when it comes to political...
incumbency. I'm with them. I'm with the people to say he does not stand a chance in hell to win. But
yes,
the levers of state are there.
They're there.
And we all know what the levers of state can do in a tight election.
Especially when Macky doesn't want to be held accountable.
Exactly.
They can do anything.
Even Ba.
Yes.
Forget Macky. Ba
himself, yes. He has a lot of issues to
answer. He has a lot of issues to answer.
And issues in Dakar and, you
So
know.
you think they will just make it easy for these guys to...
Affairs, Vice President.
Exactly.
You know, all of that.
Even the things that Macky is doing, shifting his people around. Kaba is taken to interior now, Justice taken to Foreign Affairs. Those are all strategic moves to ensure that his candidate wins.
Interesting.
So I don't think we should sit and say it's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
And I think to a certain extent that's the mistake that Africans make. To say, you know, when you look at the crowds, you look at the numbers, people who are...
Is that what happened to you guys too, UDP?
You said no politician, UDP. So
started packing all the fields. When we put the pictures out,
so you said no UDP politics, no so UDP I'll stick to that.
No, but this is really interesting conversation.
The perception that an incumbent can win, especially an incumbent who doesn't want to be held accountable.
They'll do anything.
They will do anything to hang on to power. And that's where we are in Senegal. The question is, how is the other side going to react?
How they're going to react.
And how are they going to take it? So far, based on what we see, they're not going to take it.
They're not going to take it, yes.
Just before I came, I was watching some news channel, African news channel. I got tired of the CNNs and this, so I was
But then, you see, the Macky Sall, all of these things that are happening in Senegal, Macky, like today when Aib went to the Director General's office to pick up the form, all of the international media, it seems like, you know, all the French media were with Macky Sall before. But, you know, in media, you want where the numbers are.
I know.
When they started interviewing Ousmane Sonko, they were getting all the numbers from his views. In 24 hours, you get 1 million when you interview. Now they have shifted allegiance more to Sonko. Today, even to go pick up his form, all of the international media were there. And today, the entire, you go to France 24 and all this media, they're saying Sonko's, even though the court issued an order, the government has refused to give it.
It's very bad publicity.
What kind of image does that give to Senegal though? Senegal was more of the most democratic state in the sub-region. We rely on them, no coup d'etats, it was stable, the economy is good, you know, infrastructure-wise, all of these things are good. Now, this last 1 year of Macky Sall, the last 2 years have been terrible. Macky is not able to do anything meaningful in that country. Everything is Ousmane Sonko, Macky Sall every single day. The entire agenda has just been Ousmane Sonko. What does this do to Senegal's reputation in the world?
You know, I said it in my last appearance here, and I've said it today too, I'm going to say it again. I think this bad publicity is not good for Senegal, it's not good for Macky. It's especially bad for Macky. Because this guy had a reputation of being a quintessential Democrat. Now, he's having a reputation of being an old-time dictator. And there is no other word to explain it. When you use the word dictator, I wish there was another word that can describe dictator, authoritarian. For me, it's the same. All the things he's doing qualifies for that. And for me, the saddest part of it is all the good work he's done all his life is now going to be defined by what is happening today. And that is the unfairness of politics. But be that as it may, he had a choice to make. And he chose to go the path he's going. And I think he will be held accountable eventually.
You think he will be held accountable?
I think he will be held accountable at some point. Whether his guy wins or loses or whatever, at some point, nobody escapes accountability.
Nobody escapes accountability.
Nobody. You do certain things, you think you will circumvent them, and you say, oh, I'm smarter than the previous one. Come accountability time, you'll be shocked how much information people will put on the table. From time to time, I read this TRRC, the government's white paper on the TRRC. I read the government's white paper on the Jana Commission. And I shake my head because it's like these things never happen. But they have happened.
They have.
And the record is there. The evidence is there. Now, TRRC, paragraph 38 of the white paper, government white paper, talks about respect for the rule of law, not arresting individuals because of their viewpoints, not arresting critics. Paragraph 38 of the government white paper. I keep reading that all the time when things happen, and I keep saying, we are forgetting too soon.
Too soon. Too soon.
We are forgetting. So accountability is like a shadow. In the morning, the shadow is longer. At noon, there is no shadow. And then after noon, the shadow is longer on the other side. So whether you like it or not, there is going to be accountability.
I'm glad you said that, because when I interviewed Laura last week, I kept thinking, are we forgetting too soon? When he explained how he was assaulted allegedly, and I said, really, is this possible in Gambia after everything that happened? The TRRC was televised and everything. So yeah, accountability, sometimes we forget too soon, but
we forget too soon.
Catch up with
but it does catch up, and there is global reason, global data to show that even after 40, 50 years, people have been held accountable, posthumously even. So you don't do things and say, I'll get away with it. Eventually, you're going to answer for it. So when you do things, you do them across the board, and you protect yourself better that way. Now, I think Macky has lost the plot on that one in terms of the things that he's doing, the administrative acrobatics he's doing, the judicial acrobatics he's doing. I think he lost sight of the fact that someday somebody is going to hold him accountable. Even if it is not Sonko, somebody is going to hold him accountable. And there is no running away from that. It gets to a point where even your children will start looking at you differently because of what is going on out there. Now, when you look at it from that point, and then one of the kids look at you individually and say, Daddy, really? What do you tell them?
Yeah, that becomes tough.
It is tough. And it's tough in the sense that these are people you brought in this world, you're teaching them your values and the community values. But then the exposure they have suggests that my dad is not anywhere near what he's teaching me. So
that's deep.
When you question, when the kids start questioning that, it's lost.
It's lost. That is deep. Thank you very much, Uncle Lare. Final message to the Gambia government as we anticipate the Senegalese elections. How prepared should we be to look forward to new trade policies, to look forward to new agreements, to go back to the negotiating table with the new government, because we know it's definitely going to be a new leadership, whoever it is. This is the time for us to go to work. Look at all these leaders and see. I mean, at this point, I'm expecting we should look at all of these leaders individually. What is their policy towards Gambia? Because they are all speaking. We should be interested. Because I remember during the 2021 elections, I spoke to two of my friends, Pap Ale and Sehirim Sek. And you know, when I speak to all of them, their main issue to me was this. Gambi, they'll tell you Gambi, ñun xam nga yéen, for example, they'll tell you the two main parties candidates, Senou Dabo and Adama Barrow. For us, we think Adama Barrow will be a better, they tell you, a better person because of what we can get. I think Shehirim said to me, he said, look, our president, sees Adama as more of moom mooy gën a moom la ñuy gën a mun a liggéeyal. So ñun suñ ko xoolee noonu xam nga, and the other party, Pape Ale would say, I don't know, Senegal think that Ousseynou is more very nationalistic, so we might not get a lot of things. So they have an idea, but you could see, what you can sense from what they say is this: they want somebody that
they can manage. I
don't know whether to say manage, but I think I don't know what to say. But they are more looking at their interests, Senegalese interests. But at this point, is it that not what we should be looking at? Looking at all these, because the Senegalese people are very much interested in our elections. They are very much. They look at our candidates and they will tell you how their people feel about a certain person or a certain person. And then, because they're also looking at Senegalese interests, especially Casamance. Now, we should be doing the same thing, right? We should be looking at who is going to serve our interests more. Who's going to take the security from Casamance? Who is going to be more free with us when it comes to trade issues? Who is going to let us lose to be our, I know we are an independent country. We do our things independently, but we still also don't want to be more of the way Senegal, we don't want that, right? So I think this is time for government also to to go back to the drawing board and just get prepared for whoever is coming.
But I think we've touched on those issues. Countries do contingency planning.
Yeah.
When it comes to the kind of things that are approaching in the Senegalese political sphere. But they also do what is called scoping your political environment.
Yeah.
When you scope your political environment, you are basically looking at scenario A versus B versus C versus D. I have no doubts in my mind that official Senegal had a scenario plan drawn on the Gambia. What the possibilities are going to be on Ousainou Darboe and what the possibilities are going to be on Adama Barrow. Now, when you do that kind of scenario, scoping of the political environment, are we surprised they think Barrow is better for them? We are not, because they know Ousainou is
maybe they can work more better with him.
No, it boils down to what they told you, and that is they perceive Darboe to be more nationalistic.
They think maybe he's going to be difficult to work with. Yeah.
Darboe may be number 2 for them in terms of putting Gambia first. Now, they may see Barrow from a totally different lens to say, because of his personal relationship with our president, we are sure that we can do business with him more. But for the Gambia, the common denominator has to be what is in the best interest of the Republic of the Gambia. And if I were a fly on the wall, I would tell President Barrow, start your political scoping now. And if you are just gung-ho on it, go to the next step of also doing some contingency plan. If he does that, he wins.
He wins, and we want to win.
Yeah.
If he wins, Gambia wins.
Yeah.
And that is good for all of us. Yeah. Thank you very much, Uncle Lare. And once again, happy birthday, and thank you for spending your birthday with us. Thank you so much. It's always refreshing to have this conversation. Can I have your party leader when he gets back? He went on a tour, right? European tour. I want to be the first person. I definitely want to have him when he comes back.
Invite him.
I will invite him, yes. I will definitely invite him. I want to have him to look at what happened at the tour and and what is happening.
And some of the things that...
And especially what is happening in Senegal too, and all of these things.
It will be interesting because I'm sure he'll have a perspective different from my perspective or some other perspectives.
I'll definitely want to.
That's what you get from experienced hands. The perspectives.
Is he going to be diplomatic about it? Because I see politicians, they're diplomatic about it because you don't want to be in the bad boots of those governments out there.
This is why I
was very upset with your party when they issued a statement. I kept saying it, and I mean, when Macky Sall said he was not going to run for the third term, and they said we want to thank Macky Sall. I'm like, thank what? He is just doing what the Constitution said. And then when Usman Sonko was jailed and UDP was quiet, I'm like, really? You are an opposition. You had an opinion when this person said he's not going to run. Now you don't have an opinion when the main opposition is jailed for nothing. So
Fatou, you can't have it both ways.
You guys try to be diplomatic sometimes, and that's not.
This is why when you said a member of the executive, I said I'm not a member of the executive.
Yes.
But I think at the end of the day, nobody can say you don't have empathy with the things that Sonko is going through, whether you are opposition or not. You have, if you are a human being and you have some level of humanity, you have to have empathy with him because his rights are being trampled on. And that is not a good place to be. So whether the UDP comes out with a statement, not statement, there are members who hold this view. I'm Lare Ceesay, I'm a member, and I hold this view, but and I'm telling you.
But if you issue a statement for Macky Sall to simply do what is the constitutional mandate not to run for a third term. If you put a whole statement to thank him and say, Macky Sall, we want to thank you for all those big words. I don't know who wrote it, but when you write all those nice things about Macky Sall, when he is putting an opposition leader through all of this, and you being an opposition, and you cannot put that out, then a lot of people see it like, what is this?
No, we should be vocal.
You should be vocal about it, because if it happens to UDP here, you expect Usman Sonko or somebody to say something. I know a lot of people will say, these are internal politics, we don't want to get involved. Yeah. But if you are applauding Macky for holding, doing something that is a constitutional mandate, you are encouraging and saying thank you, clapping a hand for him. When he does wrong, you should also say it. You know, Fatou. You guys should not be diplomatic about that.
Yeah, I hold the view that whoever is in violation of not respecting the rule of law is open to be criticized.
Yeah.
Whoever. Whether it's UDP, it's NPP, it's Macky Sall, not Macky Sall.
Yeah.
If you violate the concept of the respect for the rule of law, you should expect some condemnation.
Yeah.
And people are condemned within UDP.
Do you think the executive should have? Since they encourage him, when they clap for him when he did this, they should have condemned him when he did all these other things.
I'm not sure whether that statement
was... Even the government came out, when the issue happened about, all this violent thing. Even the government, even though everybody and Macky Sall and Barrow are twins, right? But they came out and put out a statement that was a little, we don't say it was the strongest, but they said something.
I think Fatou, you also need to
you guys dropped the ball there. Did you?
Well,
I think you did drop the ball there.
You need to also look at it from the perspective that I think it was a cliffhanger thing. A lot of people didn't expect Macky to say, I will not run.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people thought he was going to run anyway.
Yeah, he was going to run anyway.
And I think when he made that announcement, it caught a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah.
Me, I wasn't surprised by it, because I knew the way things are going.
He could not stand
He could not
stand the pressure.
So if we do that, we should be able to. If we commend him for stepping down, we should also condemn him for locking up Usman Sonko.
For all the things that
all the
19 people or 20 people that have been killed.
Yeah.
All of that.
So,
well, I'm glad we agreed on something.
No, well,
yeah.
Tonya.
I see one Sekunda telling me Sonko didn't condemn when the UDP executive were in prison. I mean, that was not, at that time, this was what, 2026. That time, yes, PASTEF existed, but they were not at this level. And I think, like we all said, but they have never also issued any statement regarding Gambia.
Regarding Gambia.
The reason why we are saying this now is because UDP had issued a statement congratulating Macky. If you issue a statement congratulating him, if he does wrong, then you have the limit also to say it. I think that's the reason why we are saying that.
I always put on my Twitter, Facebook thing to say, we shouldn't be defending the indefensible.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be rationalizing the irrational. We shouldn't be justifying the unjustifiable.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, what is happening to Sonko shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
His rights are being violated. And it's Macky who is violating those rights.
Yep.
And any political party, even NPP, should come out with a statement if they believe in the principle of respect for the rule of law.
Yeah.
We should all condemn it.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, for me, wherever it comes from, if you violate respect for the rule of law, you violate individual rights, you should be condemned.
You should be condemned. That's it. Thank you very much, Uncle Lare. It's always refreshing to have you here.
Thank you.
We have gone beyond our time. Go enjoy your birthday. Hopefully we'll get you here soon.
Birthday buka celebrate kote.
Kuda birthday buka kyo. Birthday abuka kuda abuka birthday celebrate.
Ntol mu mandi moro letid.
Mandi moro. Ani mori aben tolle bulokono. Ngai mori aben tolle bulokono.
Butun ko yaje.
Yalo mbama mu siselte wala nte buka sise ko tonye ba ke bari. Ntolo so kono walka domoro be domo. So I know something about you guys. Okay, I know something about you guys. Thank you so much.
Barna tabia kasiyala.
ha kasiyandile akasiyale baraka dimabe dongol jana kaftana
wolem ko bet ay siya dro mobe ya
baraka dimabe dongol jana
kaftana it doesn't matter membe men dongola danka ay siya mobe ya
ka niyo be bondi jele
te sonna jele.
Thank you very much Okurare, we really appreciate. Thank you. And to the technical team, and thank you very much Charles, Sire, Mami Farsila and all of it, Mustafa. Thank you very much. See you again next Thursday. Bye bye and good night to you all.
Good.
Bye bye.
Yalong are we on?
Airport Residency Estate is a gated community located in Old Yundum, proudly developed by Swami India, perfect for all looking for a quiet life with luxury amenities within an enclosed setting. When talking about the benefits of living in a gated community, safety and security is top on the list. They allow extra privacy, take away the hustle of unwelcome solicitors, and create a safe haven for children to play in a trusted environment without traffic or speedy vehicles. A great sense of community develops through the meeting at a controlled communal leisure facilities, offering an integrated lifestyle. A green environment and well-managed communal areas are keys to higher home standards, elevated quality of life, and better property value, should you consider home reinvestment in the future. Added to all is the location, just next to the airport and reconstructed main road, yet tucked in the tranquility of nature. Our purpose is one: your satisfaction. Contact us. Let us help you build your dream home in the Gambia.
Yiriwa men kafutan na tarambuloluto nga GIA cargo complex parendile pour que julaya sone yandi kadungoni mfunti bunda na doko sembentu ya Banjul International Airport oto men si nyafa si moluma melka fengolu ki bantala bankolu kang anin julandingolu fana foysi sula na cargo doko le bang katu masingolu bembulule ikafo meye forklifts melka selendiro ni jindiro ke bagaso lula melbe funti kang waranto ka dunnan na warehouse lu kono nga dinkira sumayari ngolu fana sotole ifula milla fano mu metari kemeleti karo bela adung isi cargo bagaso lu men sita fo ton tan woro ila sumaya fana futata tembeleto men ka fendolu mabono fo ikana tinya fo sene fengol lombang domori fengolu waranto jata kende ani bori ma fengolu kago bagasolu la taradula kendo asulata jamani labang korosir langolu lela na double view x-ray korosir la masingolu aka kago bagaso kono jubele komi kago doko sartolu ya landi nyameng nyin double view x-ray amu jamani labang rapid scanaleti men ka karafula korosiro keno kago sifa bela wati kiringo kono to na doku lalo imu ayata karandingol leti yela dokuo no iframansata kago dokuo na tamandiri nyato na dokuo la betea wayem futandi RA3 makamoleto mensatin na fo nse kago bagasolu kinole kata UK aning EU bankolu kan GIA ka hakili tenkungo dila na dokuo to ite nyina la men.
Every day is a new opportunity to make sure our first impressions are always our best, and to see possibilities on the horizon, to make our facilities and services more accessible and find freedom all around us. With a location proximity to active markets, with a liberal air transportation policy, that daily pursuit is how we turn everyday opportunities for you. For all destination marketing support, customized packages for new existing airlines and operators, and for a highly ranked tourist destination, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority is here to serve. We regulate air transport, operate and manage BIA technical requirements, merged with commercial considerations. We have experienced and well-trained aviation professionals to cater for your needs. For investment opportunities in building airport hotels, shopping malls, playground for children, do contact us on 4472-831, 4472-893. Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. We go beyond daily.